new to the channel, if you're new to the channel, you got to go to the live section of this channel. That's where all my recent videos are, under the live section, okay? You have to watch at least 20 videos to fully grasp what I'm talking about, okay? So make sure you only watch the videos that have to do with Elvis, Trump, June 11th, August 4th, and Washington State and Ohio, okay? Because those are the places connected to my two predictions. I told you that on June 11th, they're going to destroy Washington State, a part of it, okay? On June 11th, Washington State gets destroyed because it's the biblical beast out of the sea event. And after that, after when the beast rises out of the sea, that uh, it's the Bible says that one of the heads of the beast had a deadly head wound that was healed, and the world wondered after the beast. And what better beast to get the head wound than the beast who compares himself to Elvis, which is Trump? And Trump gets his head wound on August 4th. Okay, these are the same predictions I've had for all these years. Okay, okay. Now listen. So, like I said, if you're new, go to the live section of this channel. That's where all my recent videos are on this topic. Like I said, you have to watch a lot of them to fully grasp it, okay? And and one of the videos you should watch is the 6/11 resurrection of Pearl Harbor, okay? That'll get you, but that's a few months back. But anyway, so like I said, go to the live section of this channel. Anyway, so Elvis is the real Antichrist. Trump is the Antichrist in the flesh. Okay, he's the image of Elvis, who is because Elvis had an identical twin, and Trump was the replacement twin for Elvis's identical twin that was sacrificed at birth. Okay, and that's why Trump is a is a ritually birthed. You know what I mean? Satanically ritually birthed. Anyway, folks. So um, so let's go on. In this video, I'm going to show you why Elvis predicted the Super Bowl outcome, and that's why I picked it Seattle back in before the season started. Everyone on my channel knows that I've been predicting that Seattle would go to the Super Bowl. Okay, and but here's the thing: I didn't say New England, even though I've talked about the New England helmet logo having to do with Elvis, but I didn't pick them this time because New England's been there too many times. That's why I didn't even think about it. And uh, but now that they're in the Super Bowl, no matter who wins, it's connected to Elvis. Because if Seattle wins, it's connected to the Washington State June 11th event where they're going to destroy part of Washington State. And Seattle's in Washington. So it makes perfect sense for Seattle to win, but it also makes sense for the Flying Elvis to win. What is the Flying Elvis? That's the stupid logo of the New England Patriots. Okay, it's called the Flying Elvis. Okay, and it used to be called the Pat Patriot, which is the PP. For everyone who knows my channel, you know what the PP is. It's the reference to the Antichrist, but you're not going to understand that. But anyway, um, I mean, if you're new. Anyway, so in this video, I'm going to show you how Elvis gave me the prediction of Seattle winning the Super Bowl. I mean, going to the Super Bowl. And because Flying Elvis is there, now I'm not sure who's going to win. But, well, I mean, I'm kind of sure, but I'm not going to tell you who. But, because I don't want anyone to gamble on this stuff. It's stupid. Don't gamble. Anyway, so I'm going to explain to you what I talked about in that video back in June, explaining why Seattle would be the ones to beat to go to the Super Bowl, right? Now, before I start that, but I just want to make sure you guys know that, when Elvis died, the year Elvis died, he died on August 16th in 1977. That same year, on June 11th, 1977, like I said, I've talked about this 1,000 times on this channel. That year, on August, the year Elvis died, in 1977, there was a horse called Seattle Slew that won the Triple Crown, which is the most prestigious thing a horse can do in horse racing. And it won it on June 11th. Okay? And I didn't know that was the date. I already made the prediction before I knew the date. That's what I'm trying to make you understand. I already had the prediction date before I knew that Seattle Slew won on June 11th. And slew means to violently kill, like I've always said. It's the past tense of the word slay. Okay? So, and now we're entering a horse year, which is another, connection, which is coming up right after the Super Bowl, like 9 days later or something. And so that's another connection. Also, Elvis, he died on a toilet, right? And Elvis was known as the King. Seattle's in King County. And that's why Martin Luther King was killed in Memphis, Tennessee, where Elvis lived and died. And now that Seattle is in King County, it's named after Martin Luther King. See how it's all connected? Elvis was known as the King. Martin Luther King dies where Elvis lived and died, in Memphis, Tennessee. And Seattle's King County is named after Martin Luther King. And horse racing is the sport of kings, okay? So it's all connected, all right? Now, Elvis, he died on the toilet because he was known as the king. The toilet is a throne. They're mocking God. All of this is a mockery of God, all right? And so the king dies on the throne. Get it? He died on the toilet. And the Super Bowl, which I showed, Super Bowl looks like a toilet bowl. You know what I mean? Like, like from above, it kind of looks like a stadium, you know. Yeah, now I can't get it. Hold on. Images of a football stadium and a toilet bowl. Look, let me give you an example here. Give me 1 second. See, like right there, it looks like a toilet bowl. See what I mean? This is a stadium. Not that this isn't Levi Stadium. I'm just giving you an example. Okay? So it's a toilet bowl, and Elvis died on the toilet. You understand? Anyway, you'll see how it all connects to Elvis in a moment. All right. Now, and of course, Elvis predicted it because of where it's being played. That was the main reason why I was picking Seattle to win, because of where the game is. Okay. Now let's get started here. All right, here we go. So who was the quarterback of the Seattle? And he's a new quarterback too for the team. And this dude, hold on 1 second. He's age 28, okay? I'll get to his birth date in a moment. He's age 28. The new quarterback for Seattle, his name is Sam Darnold. First of all, Sam equals 33. I told you it's a mockery of God. God, they say he was crucified at the age of 33. This is the code that they use in all their fake stories. You know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to get into it here. But Sam equals 33. Darnold looks like the name Donald. Okay? It's the same letters, except it's got the R. And what is the R? The R is the 18th letter. Elvis was born on 1/8, So it even connects to that. And if you think it's a coincidence that what I'm showing, all right, if you think it's a coincidence what I'm showing, watch. So Sam Darnold's real name, okay, his full name, Sam Richard Darnold. Sorry about that. I messed up. Sam Darnold, his real name, Sam Richard Darnold, his full name. It equals 162. And that's June 11th, the 162nd day of the year. Do you understand? That's the day that he's going to be, that's the day that Washington State gets struck. Okay? Do you understand? And Elvis Aaron Presley, his full name, look, it's almost exactly the same numbers. Do you see? This is June 11th. Elvis Aaron Presley, 216, is this. August 4th. You see? You see how incredible that is? So June 11th is the 162nd day of the year. August 4th is the 216th day of the year. You see how close the numbers were right here? You see what I mean? It's the same numbers, but just mixed up. It's June 11th and August 4th. Those are my two prediction dates. Okay? Give me 1 second here. And can you guys make a comment once in a while? Let me know that you're getting it. You know what I mean? It helps. Okay? Anyway. And just make sure you're talking about what you see in the video, okay? Because that way I know that the sound and everything is normal, you know? Because sometimes my phone just, has glitches, so I got to make sure that I'm still there. Anyway, the quarterback for the Seattle Seahawks, Sam Darnold, his age is 28, and he's born on 6/5. Okay? Check this out. So he's age 28, born on 6/5. Look at this. So from 6/5, the year he's born, to 2/8, because remember, he's born on 6/5, and the Super Bowl is on 2/8. Is 28 years, 8 months, 4 days. So you got the 8/4 connection for the day that Trump gets his head wound. You have the 28, and he's 28 years old, right? Sam Darnold, and the Super Bowl's on 2/8. All right, and watch how it connects to his birth date, 6/5 now. So from August 4th, the Trump head wound day, to 2/8, the Super Bowl, is 6 months, 5 days when you add the day. Okay? And August 4th, Trump goes from, not Trump, but Obama, who was born on August 4th, who was the president before Trump, and that's why he was the president before Trump, because he had to connect to August 4th. Obama's born on August 4th, the day Trump gets his head wound. Obama goes from 64 years old to 65 that day on August 4th this year. Okay? And anyway, so it's Sam Darnold's born on 6/5. He's 28 years old. And to the Super Bowl, it's 8 months, 4 days. And then from 8/4 to 2/8, it's 6 months, 5 days. And that's his birthday, Sam Darnold. Okay? And Seattle Slew, that horse, he died at the age of 28. And the Super Bowl's on 2/8. And look who's going to the Super Bowl. Seattle. He died at the age of 28. Okay, right now, I just want to make sure you guys are following me before I move on. Has anyone gotten confused yet? Or is everybody still with me? Okay. Now, we're talking about the Super Bowl, right? Being on 2/8. So from the first of the year to 2/8, is 1 month, 8 days. And that's Elvis is born on 1/8. You see what I mean? It's 1 month, 8 days into the year. You see that? And from Elvis's birth to the Super Bowl, it's 91 years, 1 month, 0 days or 1 day. That's exactly the day 9/11 happened. 9/11/01. Look, 9/11/01. So it's 0 days if you don't add the day and 1 day if you add the day. From Elvis's birth to the Super Bowl. Okay? You see what I'm talking about? And I've shown, like I said, I've shown all this. And from Elvis's birthday to this year's Elvis's birthday was 91 years, 1 day or 0 days if you don't add the day. So if you add the day, it was 91 years, 1 day. Okay? You see what I mean? So it was 9/11 with a crown or a portal, which I told you the O is a crown or a portal. So it's 9/11/01, 9/11/01. Okay? From Elvis's birth to the Super Bowl. This is from Elvis's birth to this year Elvis's birth. Okay? Now before I go, I have to tell you something here before I move on. So, look, I'll show you the connections in a moment with because back in 1989, there was an Elvis Super Bowl. It was a Elvis impersonator. Back in 1989, it was an Elvis impersonator because Elvis was already dead for 12 years. So Elvis impersonator comes in and does the whole halftime show, and it was all about magic. Okay, there was a jukebox, and he comes out of the jukebox. Explosions everywhere. It's like just beyond. First of all, it's a stupid halftime show, but it had to do with Elvis. Okay, the guy didn't look nothing like Elvis or nothing, but it was all about Elvis. It was an Elvis impersonator. And I'll get to his name in a minute. But from that Elvis halftime show, okay, to this Super Bowl, let me just show this real quick. So, for the people who don't know my videos, the 3-7, whenever you see 3-7 or 7-3, that's the EL, because the 3 and 7 looks like the letters EL when you turn them the other way, because that's the word God. So whenever you see 3-7 or 7-3, it's meaning God, just like EL for Elvis, okay? So 37 years, 18 days when you add the day to the Super Bowl, from that Elvis impersonator Super Bowl, okay, back in 1989. And to this year's Super Bowl is 37 years, 18 days. Why is that important? 37 years, 18 days. Take a look. 37 plus 18 is 55. That's Satan. And that's Elvis's birthday, 1/8. So you have 1/8 with the EL. L and 1/8, because Elvis was born on 1/8. Satan equals 55. Then 37 times 18 is 666. You see that? And I told you that's why this event is going to be on 611. 611 plus 55 is 666. So my prediction of 611 plus Satan equals 666. Okay? Now you'll get more of that later, but the 3718, that's what I'm showing you here. That was the connection. Okay? You understand? That's why I was showing this. All right. Now, and Elvis is born on 1/8, which connects to the 666, because if you add up all the numbers 1 through 8, it equals 36. And if you add up all the numbers between 1 through 36, it's 666. So everything's about the 666 with Elvis. You know what I mean? And don't worry, it's going to get better. So Elvis died on 8/16. The 228th day of the year. Super Bowl 60, when written out, equals 228. See? Elvis died on the 228th day of the year. Super Bowl 60 equals 228 when written out. And the word twin equals 66. Elvis had an identical twin that died at birth, and it was 66 years after he was born that 9/11 happened. 66 years later, 9/11 happened from the birth of Elvis, and it's identical. And they took down the Twin Towers, get it? And I told you that the letter O is the 15th letter, so you have a crown right there. I'm not going to get into that, but you get the 228 again in the back. But anyway, so that connects. Super Bowl 60 connects to Elvis's death, 816. And look at this. Seattle Seahawks Super Bowl 60, February 8, 2026 equals 816. This is nonsense, you know. I mean, writing all this and getting that, who cares, right? But that's Elvis's death date, 816. You know, I didn't even do the New England connection. I'll do that at the end of the video if my phone's still not, if it's still working. But anyway, this is no big deal. Who cares that this adds up to that? I was just showing that that's a funny coincidence, you know. Anyway, Seattle, the only Super Bowl Seattle won was the 48th Super Bowl. And so if they win the 60th Super Bowl, 60 plus 48 equals 108, which is like Elvis's birthday, 18. You know, if you do 108, 18, you know. So that's another connection with that. Okay. Now, like I said, it's going to get better. Just hold on. Just let me gather up these cards. All right. So where's Super Bowl 60? It's located in Santa Clara, California. And that's the home of the 49ers football team, okay? And it's at Levi's Stadium. And how does this, what's the connection here? This is what, like I said, this is what it's all about. First of all, it's in Santa Clara, you know, like Santa Claus, and you know Santa Claus has elves, same thing, elves. But anyway, it's at Levi's Stadium. Levi's is the word Elvis, just like the word lives, you know, lives. That's why they had the Black Lives all across the earth. All across the earth, they had Black Lives Matter. What they were saying was Black Elvis matters, like the dark Elvis, because you know what I mean. Because what we saw what we saw, you know, the world saw was the more of the bright side of Elvis. No, the dark side of Elvis, which we don't want to see. the you know, probably his identical twin, the dark one. But anyway, it's the Black Lives Matter. I mean, the Black Elvis matters. You know what I mean? Anyway, Levi's is Elvis, and you know the Levi's logo is an upside down crown. Okay. It's an upside down crown. I've explained that. And it also looks like a Batman. You see that? Yeah. But anyway, it's an upside down crown. Looks like waves of a water. You see how the top is kind of like, you see like that swish up and down. You know, it's like water, waves. Elvis equals water. Okay? And it looks like a W, Washington. But it's an upside down crown. Okay? And the word Washington equals upside down. And it equals a bunch of other stuff too. But Elvis equals water. Okay? And water equals reset. And that's how God reset the earth, with water. But anyway, the game is at Levi's Stadium. The Antichrist equals 154. And by the way, the Antichrist and Elvis' birthday equal exactly the same. Every number is the same. But Levi's Stadium, the only number is the same as the 154. But Elvis' birthday, every single number, the forward, the backward, the reduced numbers, everything's the same as the Antichrist equals Elvis' birthday. So, but Levi's Stadium equals 154. Interesting. Now, you know, do you know that they, before I tell you that, there was, the first time they played at Levi's Stadium, because see, the name got changed. So the first time where the 49ers were playing, I'll get to the 49ers connections in a moment, you know, because it was their stadium, okay? So the first time they played at Levi's Stadium, the first time a Super Bowl was there was in 2015, okay? It was in 2015. So this was before I started talking about, because it was Trump became president the next year. That's when I started talking about all this in 2016. So Trump, it was 1 year before. So the first time Levi's opened, the Levi Stadium, it opened in 2014. All right. But the first time they played was in 2015. It was that season, basically. The first time that it opened as Levi Stadium, the very next time there was a Super Bowl there. That's pretty interesting, right? That they did that. You know? And what Super Bowl was it? The 50th. And what's the 50th state? Hawaii. Okay? And that's Elvis's favorite vacation place. The 50th Super Bowl was at Levi Stadium. Elvis's favorite vacation place is Hawaii, and they celebrate the first king of Hawaii, King Kamehameha, on June 11th. They celebrate King Kamehameha, the first king of Hawaii. And of course, like I said, that's Elvis's favorite vacation place. He was there when Obama was birthed, because they say Obama was birthed in Hawaii, but who knows if that's true. But he was in Hawaii around that time when he was either conceived and maybe when he was birthed, because he did many movies in Hawaii, Elvis, okay? And like I said, it's a big connection. But anyway, it was the 50th Super Bowl, and Hawaii equals 50. And Hawaii is the 50th state, okay? Now, to the first time the Super Bowl was at Levi Stadium, because this is going to be the second time. The first time it was there, it was in 2015. Okay, now look at this. Check this out. Oh, before I show you the first time, let me show you this first. Yeah, I'm not saying that Obama was born in Hawaii. That's what they say, okay? All right. So listen, before I do that, let me just tell you when they opened Levi Stadium. The first time they opened, okay? What I mean by opened is when they, like the ribbon cutting ceremony. I just asked, when was the first opening date? That's the date they gave me. Okay, it wasn't a game being played. It was the first time they opened the stadium. Okay, and why is this important? Look at this. From that date to 2026, the Super Bowl is 11 years, 6 months, and either 22 or 23 days. If you add them together, it's like 45. I told you the 45 is the bridge. But anyway, 6/11, you have 11 years, 6 months from the day Levi's Stadium opened. Okay, and then the first time the Super Bowl. This is the second time that Levi's is holding the Super Bowl. The first time, it was this time from the opening date, and look at that. It was 206 days. 206. That's like, first of all, it's like the year 26 with the crown, the portal, the head, the crown, the ring, the egg, the womb, the matrix, the O. So 26, and Seattle area code is 206. See that? So this is the first time at Levi Stadium from the opening date, and this is the second time. And you have the 11/6. 6/11, and you have Seattle's area code. Okay? Now, from the Elvis halftime show where they had the Elvis impersonator, from that date to the first Levi's, the first time Levi Stadium hosted the Super Bowl was Super Bowl 50. Look at that. It's 26 years and 17 days when you add the day exactly. And why is that important, 2617? Because that's the word God. God equals 2016. And that's the first time It was at Levi, the Super Bowl. And Levi's is Elvis. Do you understand? So that's a big deal that it had the God numbers for the very first Super Bowl. Okay? From the Elvis Super Bowl. That's the point. It's the Elvis Super Bowl, the Elvis impersonator Super Bowl to the first time Levi Stadium. Do you get it? Why that's important? Do you get why that's important? That part? Okay. Now, like I said, this is where it really gets good, okay? God equals 26, G-O-D equals 26. And then the reduced number for God is 17. So it's 2617. So, G-O-D, whatever it is in the alphabet is 26. And, Trump's going to get his head wound in Ohio, which is the 17th state, too. Anyway, so let's keep going here. Watch how this Elvis Super Bowl, the Elvis halftime show, how it connects. Okay, that way it's not a coincidence, people. Okay, you have to look at all the things I'm showing you. It can't be a coincidence when you look at the whole picture. Yeah, one number here, one number there. Yeah, it can be a coincidence. But when it's like this, watch what I'm going to show you. All right. So the first two Super Bowls were won by Green Bay, and I'll show you why the Green Bay is important because because of the coach. Later on, the Super Bowl trophy was named after the coach who won the first two Super Bowls. Okay, which I'll explain because they're talking about Green Bay. Green is like Emerald City. It's like the green. It's basically the Green Bay, Emerald City, Seattle. Okay, but look, the Super Bowl, the first one was in 67. The second Super Bowl was in 68. Elvis, his name equals 67 and backwards 68. So right away, it connects to Elvis, the two Super Bowls. All right. Now, like I said, just keep watching. So remember, the first two Super Bowls were in 67, and it started in 67, the first Super Bowl. Look at this. So Super Bowl 23 was the Elvis halftime Elvis impersonator, right? Watch. From the first Super Bowl to this Super Bowl, look at this. So from the first Super Bowl, which was in 67, to the 23rd Super Bowl, which was the Elvis Super Bowl in 89, what was in between 67 and 89? 22 years. 22 years. And why is that important? Because Elvis equals 67, reduced 22, then 89. You see it? 67, 22 years in between, and it's 89. Do you get it? You see how perfect that is? I mean, you think that's a coincidence that Elvis equals 67, 22, 89? And that was the Elvis halftime show 22 years later from the 67, And who was the Elvis impersonator? Look at his name. Alex Cole, like AC, Antichrist. And look where he's born, in Ohio. You see? Where Trump's going to get his head wound, in Ohio. And everything in Ohio connects to Trump. And the stage name of this dude was Elvis Presto. And that's why I was saying it would be funny if this idiot Bad Bunny, if he brought out the singer the singer called Elvis Crespo. You know, who knows? You know, what's going to happen at that stupid Super Bowl? You know, there's still a chance that he might not even show up. Something might happen. You know, but anyway, um, so the name of the you know, this dude who's the impersonator, he was called Elvis Presley. But here's what's crazy: he's born in Ohio. Okay, now um, you know that August 4th and June 11th is the 162nd day of the year, and the 200. You know, June 11th is the 162nd day of the year. August 4th is the 216th day of the year. This is the first time in Super Bowl history where the score was 20-16. 16. So it's 216 is August 4th, 162 is June 11th, and then you have the crown or the portal, the head, the ring, the face, the egg, the womb, the matrix, whatever you want to call it. But it's 216 is August 4th. And June 11th is 162. The only time in Super Bowl history where this score, and it was at the Elvis Impersonator Super Bowl. And you know, Elvis was born in the 20th state, died in the 16th state. And Bengals is in Ohio. Cincinnati's in Ohio. You see? Another connection. And look, 4 times 9 is 36. And I was born on September 4th, 9/4. But you see? You see the crazy connection? And then the very next year, after this Super Bowl, the very next Super Bowl was the again Super Bowl. Why is it Elvis? Because that's the year Elvis turned 55 in the year 90. Elvis turned 55. Satan equals 55-10. What was the score of this Super Bowl? Look at the score of this game. 55-10. So you're telling me the year Elvis turned Satan equals 55-10, that the score was 55-10? And of course, the 49ers won again. And remember, the Levi Stadium, it wasn't called Levi Stadium back then, but the 49ers play at Levi Stadium. And 4 times 9 is 36. You see what I mean? And that's my birthday, 9/4, September 4th. But you see the 36 connection again, the 666. So do you understand how ridiculous that is? That the Elvis Impersonator halftime show, the score was 20-16, which is the June 11th and August 4th numbers. Then you have the Satan numbers in the year Elvis turned 55, the very next year after this one. Okay? Absolutely ridiculous. And they were both won by the 49ers. And who was the quarterback? Joe Montana. Joe Montana was the quarterback for the 49ers both those years. And for another year too. But look, 6-11. He's born. The quarterback who won those games. And I'm telling you, Washington State is going to be struck, the Seattle. But really, it's all, get out of Washington State, especially all of the west side. But look, Super Bowl trophy is named after Vince Lombardi, the one I was telling you about that won this first 2 Super Bowls. Vince Lombardi, his birthday is 6/11. So every time they win that trophy, they're winning the 6/11 trophy. So if Seattle wins that trophy this year, they're winning the 6/11 trophy. You understand? Do you see how perfect this puzzle is? Yeah, I'm gonna get rid of this idiot right now. It's just some stupid idiot in the chat. Let me preempt you, you moron. There's some idiot troll in the chat. I already said this guy's a dum-dum. I already said because New England, who is, let me show you why New England, why I'm saying New England could also win, you idiot. And let me tell you why. The Flying Elvis New England helmet logo. Stupid. If it was any other team.
Elvis is the main logo for the New England Patriots, replacing the old Pat Patriot figure.
What is the Flying Elvis logo?
The Flying Elvis is the main logo for the New England Patriots, introduced in 1993. It's a design of a Revolutionary War Minuteman, colored in blue, white, and red,
Okay.
meant to resemble a flag in the wind.
Okay, so anyway, it's the Flying Elvis. See, if it was any other team, Seattle would be a cinch. But because of stupid New England having the Flying Elvis logo, there's always that chance that they could get the win. That's why you don't understand. I'm not picking anyone in the Super Bowl. All I said was that Seattle's going to go to the Super Bowl, and if it was any other team, I would tell you they're going to win 100%. But because the stupid Flying Elvis is there, I'm kind of, now it's up for grabs. Imagine how incredible that is. So you have two teams that connect to my predictions. Okay? Think about how crazy that is. Yeah, I talked about the quarterback earlier. So do you understand how incredible that is? Either way, Elvis wins the Super Bowl either way. If Seattle wins, it connects to the June 11th B-Side of the Sea event where they're going to destroy Washington State on June 11th. And then if Flying Elvis wins, it's Elvis either way, you know? So there's, like I said, it's absolutely incredible, you know. Yeah, and it's Levi Stadium. Do you not understand? Levi Stadium. So you have Levi Stadium, and by the way, to anyone watching, I used to be an addicted gambler. I'm telling everyone never to gamble, never ever ever gamble, because it's in the long run you're always going to lose. All right, so don't start. This is not for gambling purposes. This is to help people get out of Washington State before June 11th. Okay? I don't monetize my videos. I never have, never will, and I don't have donation pages. So get out of here with your nonsense. All right? This is just to help people get out of Washington State before June 11th. Okay? Now, let me keep going here. That way you can see nothing is a coincidence. So what does, hold on. So what does, why does Satan need the 611? Hold on. No, I haven't looked at anything to do with New England Patriots, but I will. But I have nothing, and I'll mention it in live stream. But I haven't looked at them at all. Like I said, either New England can win or Seattle can win. It doesn't matter. Either way, Elvis wins. Okay. So why does Satan need the 666? Okay, because that's the number that the Bible tells you that the Antichrist needs, right? And why does he need the 6? I mean, what does he need to get the 666? Satan. He needs that 611. And remember, I didn't know this when I made the predictions years ago. I had no idea any of these connections. So Washington State attack is on 611. Satan is 55. 611 plus 55 is 666. So on June 11th, that 611 has that 55, and Satan needs that 55. But see, why does he need August 4th if he has 611? Because see, that 611 has to have the 55 to connect to August 4th. 611 plus 55 is 666. He gets to August 4th, the Trump head wound day. And August 4th is the 216th day of the year. 6 times 6 times 6 equals 216. Okay? And that's why Elvis Aaron Presley equals 216. All right? Do you understand how perfect this is? So So the 611, Washington State gets attacked, okay? And so 611 needs the 55 to get to 666, and August 4th is the 666 day of the year, because 6 times 6 times 6 equals 216. Okay? And that's the day Trump gets his head wound. All right? Now, if you still think that's a coincidence, what about this? Satan, this is the numbers for Satan. This is the forward numbers, this is the backward numbers, reverse numbers. Do you know Satan equals 55, but what numbers are left? 1, 8, 35, because the other ones are zeros, right? 1, 8, 3, 5. That's Elvis's birthday. Elvis was born on 1, 8, 35. So you have Satan and his birthday. And what did I tell you Elvis' birthday equals? Elvis' birthday equals the Antichrist. And look at the numbers left. 6, 11, and 5, 5. You see? You have a 6 and 11 and a 5 and 5. Satan equals 55. And 611 is the day. 611 plus 55 is 666. Okay? You understand? It's absolutely impossible for these to be coincidences. Absolutely impossible. Okay? Now, and you know, in the first time in Levi's Stadium, because there's a second time that it's been at Levi's Stadium. The first time, you know who played at that one? Who was the halftime show of the 50th Super Bowl in Levi's Stadium?
The halftime show for Super Bowl 50, held at Levi's Stadium in 2016, featured Coldplay. The performance also included special guests Beyonce and Bruno Mars.
Okay, I didn't look into Coldplay. I should have. Beyonce and Bruno Mars. Beyonce is born on my birthday, 9/4, like the 49, get it? 49ers play at Levi's Stadium. And Bruno Mars. You know Bruno Mars, how he got started? Did Bruno Mars get started as an Elvis impersonator?
Yes, Bruno Mars started as an Elvis Presley impersonator as a child in Hawaii. He was known as the world's youngest Elvis at age 4, performing with...
See? You see that? And it was Hawaii again. You see the connection? You know what? I never looked into Coldplay. I should have. I don't know what that's about. Was that the stupid band that was playing during that stupid, where they caught the kiss cam or something? What band was that? That stupid kiss cam thing. Was that that was that? Coldplay. Interesting. Someone needs to look what that equals. Interesting. Now, let me show you this. So do you know that, because Satan equals 55, right? So you would think there would be something at that 55th Super Bowl, right? And I've shown this before already. So what was at the 55th Super Bowl? You know, but watch this. Who was the halftime performer at the 55th Super Bowl?
The Weeknd, also known as Abel.
So The Weeknd, all right? Now watch this. Watch this incredible connections with The Weeknd. So during the halftime show, they showed a fallen angel at The Weeknd. By the way, he spells it like this, The Weeknd, with one missing E. But it was the Super Bowl 55. They showed a falling angel from the sky coming down, and then they showed a bunch of angels, and then they showed a bunch of like like the houses look like graveyards. Go look at that. It looked like graveyards in Vegas or something. And Elvis was all about Vegas, the Sin City. You know what I mean? So they showed a falling angel coming down from the sky at the very beginning of the halftime show of the weekend. And watch this. So Satan equals 55, right? It's the 55th Super Bowl. And the weekend was the halftime show, right? This idiot, he was running around with bandages on his head for all those months before the Super Bowl came up. Okay? And every one of his dancers and everybody was wearing bandages. You'll see how that connects, because the Antichrist is going to get a head wound. So this idiot had bandages on for all that time before that Super Bowl. And like I said, all his dancers, backup dancers, were all wearing headbands. I mean, bandages on their head. Look at this. This idiot was born. Watch when he was born. The weekend was born on 2/16 or 16/2. Get it? August 4th is the 216th day of the year, and June 11th is the 162nd day of the year. So he's born on the date 216, not the numbers 216 or 162. But August 4th is the 216th day of the year. June 11th is the 162nd day of the year. That year is the year. Well, before I tell you that, let me show you this. So look at that. From the first of the year to the date he was born, 2/16, is 1 month, 16 days into the year. So you have the 611 connection. Trump is the 47th president. And August 4th, like I said, is the 216th day of the year. So you have the 216, you have the 611, you have Trump, because this is all about Trump, this weekend thing, and 47th president. And here's where it connects to Elvis. Remember, Elvis was 55 years old in 1990. So the weekend was born the year Elvis turned 55. And he's in the 55th Super Bowl. Do you understand? Again, remember, I told you the Super Bowl that year when Elvis was 55, the score was 55-10. The year 1990, the Super Bowl. Okay? And he's playing the 55th Super Bowl, and he's born that year when the Super Bowl was 55-10. Satan equals 55-10. Okay? Now, what is this idiot's name? Conan Tesfaye. Look at this. Look at this connection. Half of his name equals exactly what Trump equals. The forward is more important anyway. So Abel McConan Tesfaye equals Donald John Trump in the forward numbers. The backward numbers don't equal the same. But the forward numbers, which is the more important numbers anyway. So, do you see that? You see what I'm talking about? And I told you the Antichrist gets a head wound, okay? And look what this idiot was doing. The very first time he started to wear his bandages, the very first time that he wore it in public, he was going around wearing bandages on his head, okay? The very first time he wore it was at the 48th American Music Awards. So you have the 8/4, because Trump's going to get his head wound on 8/4, and the date was 11/22, the very first time he wore it. And what happened to JFK? He got his head wound on 11/22. So he was wearing bandages for the first time in public on 11/22 at the 48th American Music Awards. You have the 8/4 connection on JFK's death date. Okay? Now, and if that's still not enough, how ridiculous this is, because remember, he was going around wearing the stupid headband. The word band, I mean, he was wearing a bandages, not headband. I keep saying headband. Head bandages. Bandages equals comeback. Because I told you, when Trump gets his head wound, he comes back from his deadly head wound. He's going to open his eyes 4 days later. Okay? Do you understand? Bandages equals comeback. And what was this idiot's? And you know that Trump has the book called The Art of the Comeback. And Elvis had the comeback special back in 68. Remember that? Look at this. This is the way The Weeknd spells his name. The Weeknd equals head wound. Every number's the same. I mean, can you believe what I just showed you, man? So his name equals head wound. This is all stuff I showed years ago, folks. Okay? There's nothing new what I'm showing you here. I'm just recapping because of the Super Bowl connections. So head wound equals The Weeknd. That's why he spells it with one less E, man. Okay? Exactly. That's why the E is missing. And then he's wearing bandages, and bandages equals comeback, and he's going to come back after a head wound. Do you understand? Stupid Trump. Okay? This is absolutely impossible. Connections. You know? All connected to Elvis and Satan and all that stuff, what I was just showing. I'm even debating whether I even want to show this, you know. Yeah, I think we'll just hold off on this. It's too complicated, man. This is way too complicated. Hey, I'll just throw this in there. So, now I know this is just way, it's information overload now, you know. I don't even know if I want to show this. Oh, by the way, let me hold on. No, I don't even want to show this. Nah, this is too complicated. Let me just show this one real quick. No, I'm not going to show that. It's too complicated. So remember, I told you that from Super Bowl 48, because Seattle won the 48 Super Bowl. That was the only Super Bowl they won. Okay? And this year's Super, if they win, okay? This one, it's on 2/8 this year. In between their last win to this Super Bowl is 12 years, 7 days. It's 6 days if you don't add the day, which would then have those numbers of 162 and 216. But 12 years and 7 days if you add the day. And why is that important? Because look, Pearl Harbor was on 12/7, which is there's only two big events on American soil attacks. Two big attacks was Pearl Harbor and 9/11, and I'll explain to you why that's important in a minute. So Pearl Harbor is on 12/7, and it was 12 years and 7 days in between, and between their last win, I mean the only win they had in the Super Bowl, Seattle, to this Super Bowl, and 12 times 7 is 84, and guess how old? Guess how old the Pearl Harbor is now? 84 years. See that? It's 84 years old. And look at the amount of days. So pay attention. This is what they were waiting for Pearl Harbor to turn 84. Okay? Because why? Because see, from Elvis's birth to the exact day Pearl Harbor happened, it was 6 years, 11 months exactly when you add the day. So from Elvis's birth to Pearl Harbor was 6 years, 11 months exactly. And from Pearl Harbor to 6/11 this year is 84 years, 6 months, 4 days, or 6 months, 5 days. And what did I just tell you? That Obama on August 4th, he turns from 64 to 65. Do you see it? And that's the day Trump gets his head wound, on August 4th, the day Obama was born. Okay? And because 611 has to connect to that 8-4. If you saw my connection with Satan earlier, okay? It has to connect. 611 had to connect to the 8-4. That's what they were waiting for this whole time, okay? And yeah, and Darnold is his birthday is on 6-5. And guess what? The New England's coach, I mean, not the New England's coach, the New England owner is born on 6-5. That Robert Kraft dude, he's born on 6-5. Just like Darnold, the quarterback, is born on 6-5. You know? Anyway, so let me just show you this. That way you can see nothing is a coincidence. And you remember I was telling you that it's Pearl Harbor was on 12-7. And from the first win that Seattle got, it was the 48th win, the only time they won a Super Bowl, to this Super Bowl is 12 years, 7 days when you add the day, okay? 12 years, 7 days. Yeah, and Pearl Harbor happened in 1941. Yeah, when Robert Kraft was born in that year. But look, hold on. So from the 48th, from that Super Bowl to this Super Bowl is 12 years, 7 days, right? And Pearl Harbor is 12-7, right? And look at this. June 11th is the 162nd day of the year. The 162 is 12.7. See that? 12-7. 162, June 11th, 12-7. See? You see how what I'm trying to say? How it all has to connect? August 4th has to connect to June 11th because 12 times 7 is 84. Okay? And that's how old Pearl Harbor is now. 84. And from Elvis's birth to 12-7 was 6 years, 11 months exactly when you add the day. So 611 had to connect to the 8-4. 162nd day of the year is June 11th. Is the square root is 12.7. And if you think these are coincidences, what is the square root of 611? Because 611, right? What is the square root of 611? 24.7. What the hell is that? The first time you see the numbers 24-7 is at the 611 mark, the square root. What does this mean? Because from Elvis's birthday to 9/11 is 247 days. And remember, he had a twin that was sacrificed at birth, Elvis. He had an identical, and the Twin Towers was taken down. You see it? And how much is 247 days? 8 months, 4 days. Do you see what I mean? It's 8 months, 4 days, 247 days. Okay? Do you understand? Okay. Yeah, I've talked about the World Cup and all that stuff. Yeah. Okay. Do you and you know that the word twin equals 66, and it was 66 years, 8 months, 4 days from Elvis's birth to the towers collapsing. 66 years, 8 months, 4 days. Okay, and 8 months, 4 days is 247 days, and 600. The square root of 611 is 24.7. The first time you see 247. Okay. And the word twin equals 66. It was 66 years, 8 months, 4 days in between Elvis's birth and the Twin Towers collapse. You understand? And Elvis had an identical that was, Elvis had an identical that was sacrificed at birth, okay? Now, the last thing I'm going to show, like I said, there was this stack right here. I'm not even going to show it. It's too much explanation. I don't have time for it. Let me see what else I have here. Here's another stack of stuff I'm not going to show. The Seattle's coach is Mike McDonald. He's got the Donald in his name. The Seattle coach. Who's the Seattle owner? I need to look at that. Who is the Seattle Seahawks owner?
The Seattle Seahawks are owned by the Paul G. Allen Trust. Jody Allen, Paul's sister, is the chair and acts as the de facto owner since 20.
When was Paul G. Allen born? January 21st,
Paul G.
53.
Allen, the co-founder of Microsoft, was born on January.
Oh, he was the owner of Microsoft. I mean, the co-founder. Interesting. Anyway, so we're in the year 26. Oh, you want to hear something crazy? I forgot about this. You know, on the 49ers, there was a quarterback who won. When was the last time the 49ers won a Super Bowl?
The 49ers last won the Super Bowl on January 29th, 1995.
So the last time the 49ers won, because you know the 49ers play in Levi's Stadium, right? Who was the quarterback for the 49ers in 1995 Super Bowl?
Steve Young was the quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers in the Super Bowl in 1995. He led them to victory, throwing 6 touchdown passes. And
He
earning
was the.
MVP honors.
Oh, I didn't know that he was the. Because what happened was I asked was let me show you who it is. Was Elvis Grbac the quarterback in the 1995 San Francisco 49ers Super Bowl game?
No. Elvis Grbac wasn't the starting quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers in the 1995 Super Bowl. Steve Young started and won MVP, throwing a record 6 touchdowns.
Elvis Grbac was the backup. I didn't know. I didn't know who was because I didn't pay attention to the 49ers. But they had a player named Elvis. Isn't that funny? No, I didn't know that Steve Young. I know who. I mean, I've heard his name, but yeah. I don't even pay attention to sports, folks. I told you I always wanted to be a baseball player all my life, and then not all my life. I'm saying up to the age of 20, but once I saw I wasn't going to make it, I hated sports after that because it's just a bunch of money hungry people, chasing money. That's all it was about. And you know that, guess what? This makes total sense now because look, I told you the Super Bowl trophy is named after Vince Lombardi, right? Which I showed earlier. When was Vince Lombardi born? I showed this already.
Vince Lombardi, the famous coach, was born on June 11th, 1913.
So he's born on June 11th, right? And guess how old he is right now? From the day he died in one day before my birthday, I think, September 3rd. When did Vince Lombardi die?
Vince Lombardi died on September 3rd, 1970.
So he died on September 3rd, 1970. Right now, during the Super Bowl, he's going to be 55 years old. Do you get it? 6'11" plus the 55, which is Satan, is 666. This is the 666 Super Bowl for the trophy. Are you getting it? Is anyone not understanding what I just said? Okay? Please tell me if you understand that. Okay, I'm going to say it again. Vince Lombardi is born on June 11th. It's named after him, the Super Bowl trophy. So he's born on 6/11. He's 55 years old right now. He's 55 years dead. I'm sorry. I should have said, I said it wrong. He's 55 years dead. So remember, he's born on 6/11. He died in 1970. So 55 years from the moment he died. That's what I should have said. So it's you get it. So the trophy is 611 because it's named after Vince Lombardi, and it's 55 years from Vince Lombardi's death. Okay. Now you understand now? Okay. Because 611 plus 55 is 666, right? And to be exact, the percentage from the first time the Super Bowl was called the Vince Lombardi Trophy, from that day, it's 55 years and either 22 or 23 days to this Super Bowl. So it's 55 years, 22, 23 days. And the percentage is 55-10. That's Satan. Satan equals 55-10. The percentage of time. Yeah, I'm not going to explain that, but it doesn't matter. The point is, it's 55 years from Vince Lombardi's death to the Super Bowl. And and by the way, here's from the year Elvis turned Satan in 1990 to this Super Bowl is 36 years, right? 1 month, 1 day if you add the day. The 3 is a crown. I told you that, like the W. And then you have the 611. See, it's the crown on the 611 to this Super Bowl. And that's why it's at Levi's Stadium. That's why it's the Flying Elvis against Seattle. You can't you can't get more perfect than this. Okay? And it's when Elvis turned Satan. And that year the Super Bowl score was 55-10. Okay? And and lastly, look, I could go on all day with the connections, folks. There's only so much you can fit into one, video. Do you know that right now we're in the year 26, okay? And I told you guys that the 26 prime is 101. So you have the 26101. So you have the 611 in there in the connection. And what is 26 plus 101 is 127, like Pearl Harbor, is 12-7. Do you get it? I forgot to put this in there. 26 prime number equals 101. You add the 26, you get 127. And by the way, I'm right-handed. You're seeing everything backwards. Like right now, you're seeing the numbers backwards. This is my right hand. See, look, 26 prime is 101. So you have the 611. And then you add the 26 to the 101, you get 127. That's Pearl Harbor's date, 12-7. And 12 times 7 is 84. Okay, so you have a lot of connection. Anyway, we're in the year 26. That's why I'm showing that. And do you know who won the 26th Super Bowl? Let's find out for you. Who won the 26th Super Bowl? Listen.
The Redskins. According to Washington Commanders, here's a gallery remembering the Redskins' 37-24 victory over the Bills in Super Bowl 20.
And it was on January 26th. 126. Get it? I told you that's the same numbers as June 11th, August 4th, 216 or 162. August 4th is 216. June 11th is 162. It was the date was 126. But what's interesting, it was Washington. Even though Washington doesn't play, my phone's glitching, doing weird action. But whenever I go too long in my videos, it starts to glitch. So Washington doesn't play in Washington State, okay? But Washington won it. And you know who was there? Donald Trump was at that stupid Super Bowl. Was Donald Trump at the 26th Super Bowl? Why would it? Did Donald Trump attend the 26th Super Bowl with the Washington Redskins winning?
Yes, Donald Trump attended Super Bowl 26 on January 26, 1992, where the Washington Redskins won, defeating the Buffalo Bills. He was there with his then wife, Marla Maples.
No. But where it was, the game. It was. Guess what's in the news? What is in the news all the time right now? What's in the news all the time right now? What place is in the news right now? Who wants to say it? I'm waiting for someone to say it. What's in the news right now? What place? Exactly. It was in Minneapolis, Minnesota, the Super Bowl. No, it was in the Metrodome in Minneapolis. It was in the 612 area code, the 216 backwards and the 162, and it was on the date 126 and the Twin Cities. That's because Minneapolis is one of the Twin Cities. Do you see what I'm talking about? But did you see it was on 126, the date, which is the same numbers as 216 and 162, August 4th, June 11th, and it was the 26th Super Bowl. We're in the year 26, and it's in the area code 612, which is the same numbers again, 216 and 162 numbers as the date. And stupid Trump was there. Do you see what I'm talking about? Now, there's two things I want to check. I want to check from that date real quick, but I also want to check from the day Seattle Slew died. I forgot to check that. Oh, and today is 126, isn't it? In where I'm at, Glendale, California, it's it's still the date 126, right? Yeah, today's 126. This Kobe's and Kobe's all connected to Elvis. The ritual. But I'm not going to talk about it here. I've talked about it many times over the years. So real quick, I just want to go from that year of that Super Bowl. Give me a second here. I don't think I'm going to find anything, but we'll see. $408 but other than that, I don't really see that much. No, there's a few things, but I'd have to explain it. Forget it. 1,776 weeks. Forget it. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Oh yeah, that's interesting. You guys are making good comments. Appreciate that. So let me just real quick. I want to go from the day Seattle Slew. Oh, real quick, one more. Anyone who came in late, you got to watch from the beginning. All right. Yeah, exactly. The word God equals 26. I mentioned that earlier. Yeah. No, I don't see anything with Seattle Slew's death to well, no, I don't see anything, no. To the Super Bowl, no. Interesting. Hold on. Let me see if there's a prime number connection. see. Yeah, there is, but I'm not going to explain it. But yeah, there is, but it's too much of an explanation with the primes. But anyway, other than that, folks, that's it. All I'm saying again. Let me again this way. This way, all the trolls who come in, you morons. I'm not predicting that Seattle's going to win the Super Bowl. If stupid New England wasn't in it with the Flying Elvis logo, okay, let me show that for the people. Flying Elvis logo.
The Flying Elvis is the main logo for.
So here it is. That way you can see it. Where is it? Here it is. This is the, yeah, this one right here. So yeah, this is the Flying Elvis. Because it has a sideburn. I guess that's why they call it that. But look, it's got a big E right there. See, it kind of looks like his hair in the front. That's why, like way up high. But it's interesting. You got the E, and it looks like it's on fire, right? You know, it's got the big E on there. What else? There's probably other stuff there that I'm not seeing. Oh yeah, that's right. The Levi. I forgot all about that. The Eliphas Levi connection. Eliphas Levi, because you know it's at Levi Stadium. I had that all ready to go. Where is it? No, watch this. I bet you I won't be able to find it now. Oh, here it is. Look, Eliphas Levi. I know it's backwards, everything. Eliphas Levi, he's some kind of Satanist, occultist, whatever the hell he is. He was born on 2/8. And he's going to be exactly 216 years old on the Super Bowl. See? Levi. It's at Levi Stadium. You get what I'm saying? So you know what that means? Absolutely nothing. No. But anyway, the point is that it's the Elvis Aaron Presley equals 216. But it's also the 162 for June 11th. And 216 is August 4th. So it connects to everything. You understand? It connects to everything. Who cares? I mean, listen, folks, if you're not going to get convinced from all the stuff I've already shown you, then I don't know. There's no hope for you. The fact that they're at Levi Stadium, and Flying Elvis is there, the stupid logo. The Flying Elvis is there, and Seattle's there. I mean, there's just no hope for you. Oh, yeah. And the Church of Satan was in San Francisco, too. Yeah. It started back in 66, 1966. It's too much, man. And watch my video. I showed the connections with that, too. Because Elvis is the Church of Satan. Go watch my live stream video. I showed that. Just recently I did that video. I've shown all the Illuminati card games connecting with Elvis. You got to watch my videos. What was I going to show? Oh, okay. So what I was trying to say was, no matter who wins the Super Bowl, if stupid New England wasn't there, I would tell you 100% Seattle's going to win. Because that's who I picked from back in June before the season started. I said Seattle's going to go to the Super Bowl because of this Levi Stadium crap and all the other connections I showed. But now that New England is in it, because I didn't think New England was going to make it because they've already made it 6 times. I was like, they're not going to bring them in. So New England gets there. And because they have the Flying Elvis, which I've talked about many times over the years, because they have the Flying Elvis logo, now I can't say for certain that Seattle's going to win. Because either one wins, it connects to Elvis. The whole thing is an Elvis Super Bowl. Just like the 1990, 55-10, Satan turned 50. I mean, Elvis turned 55. The score was 55-10 that year, and the Elvis Super Bowl halftime show, the score was 2016, 16, 20. Same numbers again as 216, 162. You know. You know, and if you see my videos, you know I have a whole list of the 16, 20, 2016 connections. The only, and that was the score of that Super Bowl too, where the Elvis halftime Super Bowl, where I showed earlier. And no, I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh well, I lost my I lost my train of thought on that. Anyway, the point is that it's all about Elvis. That's I can't remember what I was going to say now. What else can I say, you know? No, I'm not going to show any more info. No, forget it. I give up. It's too much, man. Oh, well, here's one. You know, the area code for Santa Clara was 408. I forgot to show that. It's the backwards numbers of 804. You know, where Levi Stadium is, that is 4080, 408 area code. And you know they won the 48 Super Bowl. Yeah. Oh, I'll be doing live streams, yeah, for sure. But yeah, I will be doing the halftime show live stream, yeah. Supposedly, that TPUSA is going to be having their own halftime show or something. Nobody's going to watch that. Is it going to be broadcast on another station or something? I mean, the only reason we're going to watch that filthy Bad Bunny jackass, the only reason we're going to watch that is because we want to see what kind of outrageous things they do so we can talk about it. But the problem is, you know, if I show it, that I won't, they'll take it down immediately. They won't even give you, after 1 minute, they will cut the stream. So that's why I have to stop it. And so if I was you guys, I'd be watching it on your own TVs. So, because I don't think I'm going to be able to show it because they're going to take it down in less than a minute, you know. Unless I, like show you half the screen or something. I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to get away with, because I'm telling you, within 1 minute, they'll take it down. Yeah. Yeah, I left out a bunch of info, folks, because it was just too much. It was just too much info. Oh, and Trump says he's not going to the to the Super Bowl. Oh, here's one more thing. Patriots champions equals Elvis Aaron Presley. Exactly. Every number is the same. So I think if you put Patriots with an S and champions with an S, it equals exactly Elvis Aaron Presley. So that's another connection. But I got to double check that because I remember years ago I showed that, so I don't know if it's if I got that right. Let me check that. Yeah, this is Kobe's death anniversary, right? I mean, I'm doing it on 126. I didn't even know that. Yeah, it equals Elvis Aaron Presley. Every number's the same. Elvis Aaron Presley equals Patriots champions. Patriots with an S, champions with an S. Yeah, I'll definitely do that. Like I'll talk to you guys while I'm watching it. Yeah. I'll give you a play-by-play of the yeah. Yeah, the Pat riots. That's funny, yeah. It's got the riot in it. Don't ask me, I don't know. What's your question right there? Yeah, and Green Day is going to be playing before the Super Bowl, right? And Green is always connected to the Emerald City, and Washington State is the Evergreen State. Anyway, all right, folks. I think that's it. What else here? No, I think that's it. And the 26 Super Bowl that I told you Washington Redskins won it? The 26 Super Bowl, and we're in the year 26, and it was in between 91 and 92 because the season started in 91, but it ended, the Super Bowl was in 92. Get it? 91, 92. How old is Elvis right now? He's in between 91 and 92 in the year 26. You get what I'm saying? He's in between 91 and 92 right now. And we're in the year 26. And that was the 26th Super Bowl. The season started in 91, ended at the Super Bowl in 92 for the season. Yeah. All right, folks. Any last questions? Anything you want? Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah. No, I don't think I'm going to be doing another video tonight. No. So it's already 9:30 p.m. here. No, no more. I've been on way too long. All right. Anyway, God bless all of you. Like I said, I'm pretty sure I forgot to show some stuff, and plus I took out a bunch of stuff I told you out of the video from from the original video that I did on this before the season started. All right. Anyway, God bless all of you. Jesus is God. End the video.